Hi guys, my name is Lela Sophia. I am an artist and fine jewelry designer. If you like contemporary fine jewelry, if you like luxury handbags, all things interiors, and I have some fun videos for you. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I've been truly debating making this video. I think just kind of like putting yourself out there is always a little scary, but thank you to my mom who encouraged me to make this. This is going to be about my own completely personal experience being plus sized in the luxury industry, and also my experience with Ozempic. I've kind of been a little bit shocked, to be really honest, that Ozempic has like had this major moment, or is having this major moment. I was put on Ozempic 2 years ago before I knew anything about it, and I had a very interesting, let's say, experience. I wish, I truly wish that there was a video like this when I was considering going on it, or even just when I had started it, just to kind of like hear some anecdotal stories or any advice or anything, not from a medical professional, but from just an average person or a user of it. And so I'm gonna go ahead and make this because I've seen some really, like, thank God for TikTok, genuinely. I was so not pro TikTok in the beginning, and I've seen so many kind of beneficial little stories and people's experiences on it, but YouTube is my main platform, and I really want to do like a sit down, long-winded story time on my own personal experience. And just to cover all my bases, genuinely, I want to say I am not a medical professional. I am not in the medical field in any way, shape, or form. Anything in this video is going to be completely anecdotal. I haven't known any friends or anybody who's been on it, so I can't even compare any of my kind of experiences. This is just purely me. And so I hope that you guys just take everything with a grain of salt. I'm gonna ramble a little bit about my history because I really truly think that there are going to be so many people who have similar experiences, who have similar backgrounds health-wise or similar medical backgrounds. And so this could be truly life-changing, as it was for me. So if you want to kind of hear my entire journey, stay throughout the whole video. If you just want to hear my thoughts on Ozempic, I will give a timestamp below so you can just jump right to there. Honestly, just to even say at first, the biggest reason why I wanted to start this channel, there are kind of a few reasons. One is that I didn't see as much conversation about the contemporary fine jewelry industry. I am a fine jewelry designer. Lela Sophia Jewelry is my baby. Everything will be linked down below for you. And so that was kind of reason number one. Reason number two is that I have worked within the luxury industry for the last 10 years, and I've experienced a lot. Being a larger, a fat, a curvy, a thick, whatever you want to call me, person in the luxury industry is quite frankly not easy. And I haven't seen as much of a kind of merge. There are these like, oh my God, literally incredible powerhouse plus size women in this YouTube community, in the TikTok community, in the social media community who have put themselves out there. And there's kind of that side to it. Or there's a luxury community, which I love so much. And I was like, I'm not seeing a crossover. There's not that many. There's maybe one or two that I found recently. Thank you guys for being here and for kind of like paving the way for me. But I really wanted to change that, to be totally honest. I was like, I'm a plus size person who's been in the luxury sphere for a decade. So how do we kind of merge the two? Because we're so alienated from clothing, from sizes. No LVMH brand, no Gucci group brand, no huge powerhouse brand has become size inclusive to my knowledge. And I'm sorry, but going up to a double XL isn't gonna cut it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. It's not gonna cut it. So all of the brands that are lovely that I wish I could shop from that have just gone up to an XXL, it's not good enough. So I'm trying to change that whole thing. I am also a very proud Moroccan American woman. My father, his entire family, my siblings, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, everybody is from and still currently lives in Morocco. And so genuinely, I just wanted to kind of like show up for my culture, show that not all women look the same and not all women dress the same. And I'm really proud to be a Arab, African, Moroccan woman who is proud of herself, proud of her body, proud of everything. We're gonna do a brief, very brief, because I'm not gonna like put all of my intimate details out on the internet for everybody to see. But I do want to give a little bit of my own personal medical history out there into the world. Because when I was a teenager, when I was a preteen, when I was a kid struggling with my weight, I had no answers for a very long time. I had no help. When comparing my father's side with my mom's side, my mom is white American, primarily British, Irish, and my brothers, my mom, everybody looks completely different. I was raised with a step family. I'm very much so the odd man out, and so I just felt genuinely hopeless and so hateful towards my body. I always loved myself. I've always done a lot of self-work. I've tried really, really hard to be very intentional in my life, even from a young age, and my weight was just the one thing that I felt like I had zero control over. My doctor, kind of growing up, I hated, was absolutely horrible, and I truly, truly advocate, if you are not getting the support that you need, change doctors, because it starts there in Western society. Also, explore your options, because the most support I've ever gotten is from like the holistic community. My mom is in the bodywork field, and that was a huge, huge benefit to me. And just like major advantage, because my chiropractor and my holistic doctors, they made a huge improvement just even like in my mental health in regards to my body. And then when I was 15, I changed doctors to an incredible, incredible doctor who I literally aged out of. So I'm so sad that I can't even see her anymore. But she is just this amazing, brilliant woman, and immediately was like, this is not your fault. Your blood work is incredible. I've always, my entire life, had above average, what would be deemed as being healthy looking blood work. The one indicator, this is when I was 15 years old, was that I was insulin resistant. I was deemed as being very, very high risk of getting type 2 diabetes. I then found out later that my father and my grandparents all had type 2 diabetes. And so it might just be genetic, to be honest. I don't know. I also don't have very much knowledge of that side of my family, especially medical-wise. But that was like a jarring discovery for a 15-year-old. And so I kind of immediately went to a very well-regarded endocrinologist. And same thing, it was pretty apparent that in the next year or so, I could be diagnosed with pre-diabetes. And so I immediately was put on metformin. Now I'm talking about this because I've seen some videos say that metformin is an alternative to Ozempic. Medically, I do not know the ins and outs. Medically, I cannot tell you this, but my experience with metformin, I was on metformin from age 15 to 21. And so I never once lost weight on metformin, but the one amazing thing that it did help me with is that I never gained weight, which is crazy because especially as a woman, that's like a major life change in your 15 to 21 years. And so to have a drug that helped me not gain any weight, just kind of stay stagnant for those years, was, I think, a really amazing kind of foundation. However, it has a lot of different side effects that your doctor can go over with you, but for me, it made me very sick. I could have just been taking too high of a dose. I could have been taking it too far after my meal times. Honestly, I just was like a scared kid, and so I took whatever I needed to take. Physically, I also just like very much so present on leaning towards my dad's side. And so when I tell you I can gain muscle walking, like genuinely, I gain muscle walking, I can gain muscle doing anything. And so I'm bulky. And I genuinely think that that has a lot to do with my weight and also just my appearance. Like I'm bulkier than you think. I'm more muscular than you think. And because I'm also a fat woman, combine the two, and especially Americans, Europeans will be like, oh, she's just fat. Like, duh. I've even had friends be like, wait, you're strong. And I was like, yeah, does that not translate? I guess it doesn't. So there you go. That's one big thing. But I love a good workout. I think all my closest people know that. And so I train hard. And I think that that has a lot to do with my general internal health. I also am I'm almost a vegan. I've been a vegetarian for the last 7, 8 years. And I had a year and a half where I ate chicken 2 years ago, but I'm now back to being essentially a vegan. My health, my kind of everything that I do, how I take care of my body shows internally. It shows on blood work. My cholesterol is amazing. I literally once had a doctor ask me if I was on a lipid blocker because she's never seen such amazing cholesterol levels. And I was like, what is a lipid blocker? I have no idea what that is. I always get, and no offense to these doctors because they truly are amazing, and it's not all their fault because they're just ingrained as to like what a healthy body looks like and what an unhealthy body looks like. And externally, I present as what an unhealthy body looks like, I guess. There's always a look of shock on every doctor's face I've ever been to when my blood work comes back immaculate, which is very harmful probably to my mental health, but it's also, I'm used to it. It's been so long. So there's that. Those are all things that just like genuinely, if you have a very similar story or parts of my story are similar, keep watching because Ozempic truly changed my life and will change my life in perpetuity because it is an option that is the only thing ever that has just immediately made me lose weight. So to get into the Ozempic talk, again, take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything just as pure anecdotal, like you're talking to a friend, okay? Because I don't want to give any medical advice to anybody. My personal experience. So I had a period after I was off of metformin when I was 21. I had a period of just like beast mode, of like working out constantly. I felt like, you know, you're in your young adulthood, and I had this like insane control over what I ate, when I worked out, how hard I worked out, everything. And I lost about 20-ish pounds. I did a major, massive cleanse that like sparked that right before my senior year. I'm a vocal performance major, so I had a senior recital, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do this for my senior recital. And it worked. And also I'm 21 at the time. So things that I did to help with my weight when I was 21 just might not work at the age of 29. So I had a period of like, we're feeling good, we're feeling amazing. I had lost 20 pounds. And then in the middle of my 20s, literally like on the cusp of being 25, I started gaining that weight back. Uncontrollably. I had no change in my exercise routine. In fact, I added on more exercises, no change to my diet, but I did have major changes to my stress levels. I had some traumatic events happen. I had some very challenging years in my life, and some crazy combo made me gain all of that weight back plus some. Cut to, of course, the pandemic. 6 months into the pandemic like slapped me on the face as it did everybody else, and I'm sure so many people so much worse. but I had kind of two very traumatic events happen at the same time. Also a death in the family. Also, we're going through a pandemic. Also, I'm running a business by myself during the pandemic. All of those things on top of the 25 pounds, 25 to 30 pounds that I had gained back from 25 to 27, 28, I just immediately started gaining weight again. And I was like, somebody needs to help me. I literally went to like a renowned nutritionist. I went back to my doctor. I saw a specialist. I was like livid, and I just felt like I had zero control. I found this amazing endocrinologist in New York City. If you are a woman, highly recommend looking for a reproductive endocrinologist, because it will deal with your feminine organs and feminine hormones as well as your endocrine system. So that could be PCOS, that could be any insulin resistance, that could be anything that you're dealing with, your uterus or your ovaries. That was a game changer for me. And so after literally months of doing every kind of blood test, some that took weeks or months to get back, every type of test to figure out if there's literally anything else contributing to this like unexplained massive weight gain that I was experiencing over the last kind of 2-ish years, nothing was wrong. That's the craziest thing. Nothing was wrong except for my insulin resistance. And so I am deemed as having insulin-resistant PCOS. So that just even in itself was a major game changer, because now we're looking at like, all right, what do we do? How do we fix this? And how do we go about your entire rest of your life? Since me getting that diagnosis, I'm shocked, because genuinely so many people in my life personally that I know have been like, oh yeah, I have PCOS. Oh yeah, I do too. My particular one, insulin-resistant PCOS, essentially from what I understand, just means that anything I ingest and really just like my resting human self will hold on to weight no matter what. It kind of doesn't have to do with my diet. It doesn't have to do with calories. It doesn't have to do with anything. It's just my body is, I think my body is kind of always in survival mode. And B, my body genuinely wants to just hold on to everything. Ozempic I had never heard of before, which is also a huge reason why I'm making this video, because up until maybe even like not even 6 months ago, Ozempic was not a thing. So it was presented to me that this is a drug for diabetes. However, it has been prescribed off-label, especially for those with PCOS. So I was an amazing candidate, especially given all of my medical history. So I started. This was May of 2021. This is May 24th specifically of 2021. I go on. You do have to do kind of an introductory dose, kind of like build up slowly to get your body used to it. So you start with 0.25. I did that for 2 weeks. I went back for a follow-up. I was doing okay. And so I went up to the regular dose of the first pen, which is 0.5. Do this for a month. Nothing happens. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what is going on? I'm back to my regular workouts. Like, I'm doing everything I need to do, and yet nothing happened. Literally like the flip of a switch. After I had done 2 weeks on 0.25, 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks on 0.5, I track my weight every day. Yes, you can come for me in the comments. I think I have a little OCD. For the past 4.5 years, I've tracked my weight every single day on a scale connected to an app. If you look back at that time period in this app, it is wild. I literally went just a massive downward curve. It was insane. It is still insane when I show doctors to this day. If I have a new doctor, I'll show them. Because it was like every single week I'm losing weight. So over the course from May 24th to about September 20th, something like that, I was on the 0.5 dose. And I lost, I think, about 18 pounds, let's say. From there, I was kind of like, all right, I'm getting a little stagnant. This is kind of just like the extra weight that I can't believe that I gained. So now I'm almost back to my highest, but I had plateaued there for years before. And also I'm now at my weight that I was at when I was in high school and college. So I'm like, my body clearly feels comfortable here. So my body's clearly like happy at this weight. So my doctor then is like, all right, would you like to go up to 1 milligram, which is a whole different pen? And I'm like, yes, I'm desperate at this point. My symptoms hadn't been so bad, which I'll go over in 1 second. But I then, from late September to March, I'm on 1, I think it's milligram. Here's where things get interesting. I continually, literally Christmas time comes, from September to December, I'm another 20 pounds down. Then March comes and I'm another 10 pounds down. So March, I like reached my goal weight. I was more than happy and I'm thinking like, cool, let's just stay on this. And then my body had another plan. March 2022, so almost exactly a year ago comes. And this is literally the first week of March. I had a wedding to attend. I was so excited. I get so sick. I thought I had food poisoning. Literally, TMI again, if you don't like these type of things, don't listen. Literally vomiting every 30 minutes for like 12 hours. The whole 9 for like 2 to 5 days afterwards. I was woozy. I couldn't eat anything. It was miserable. And I was like, oh, I just had food poisoning. That's crazy. I haven't had that in years. Live my life, continue being more careful. April comes, same thing. The first or second week of April, same thing. I'm like literally so ill, cannot get out of bed. I'm having panic attacks. I hate vomiting. I guess I must not have had food poisoning the first time. Is this Ozempic? So I immediately call my doctor after the weekend and she's like, yep, is it 9 months? Have you been on it for 9 months? And I was like, 10. But when it was 9 months, literally plus 1 week, that's when I started getting sick. Anecdotally, apparently at 9 months in, this happens. And so I was like literally writhing in just disgust, everything for food I couldn't eat. It was so horrible. Of course, then I lose another 10 pounds because of all this. And we immediately went off of it because I was like, honestly, I'm cool. I can deal with any other symptoms. This is horrible. So that was the end of my first Ozempic journey. So this is now almost a year ago. This is April 2022. So 2022 comes and I'm like, okay, I guess that was that. I don't know if you're supposed to just stop in its tracks. The medication stays in you, they say, for 5 weeks after. I think it's totally possible that it stays in you for longer, especially because I was at kind of the highest dose available. I guess some people even go higher than that, but that was the end of that. I was like, yep, nope, can't deal with that. So weight-wise, I actually stayed the same from April 2022. I gained like 6 pounds back. April literally through to August. This is crazy. No, even through to September. So for almost 6 months, I was like, thank you. I was so happy. However, I was having horrible after symptoms. This is just me. I just like, it really messed my GI system up to the point of me like having this horrible period afterwards. Genuinely not until like November did I get back to feeling okay. I was so sick GI-wise. I felt like I couldn't eat and it was really horrible. And then when I did eat, I was having still this like very slow digestion. On top of that though, the worst symptom that I ever experienced while I was on Ozempic and then afterwards was anxiety. Now I am someone who has diagnosed, of course, general anxiety and chronic depression. Like I've had this since childhood. I've been in therapy for a very long time. And I had never felt anxiety like this. This was to the point of like being non-functional. I literally remember I did a podcast with Swizz, who I love so much. Shout out to you. I did all these things kind of right after I had gone off of Ozempic. I thought I wasn't gonna make it. When I tell you, I genuinely was like, I don't think I can do this. I went on vacation twice. The first vacation, my poor brother, thank you, Dylan, because you are a godsend. Literally every plane, every line we stood in, anything, I was like, I can't do this, I'm gonna faint. I'm going to pass out. I genuinely think like I was done. I was like, what is happening to me? The second vacation I went on with my dearest family members, my stepdad, my mom, and my little brother, to a place we've been to for the last, since I was 11, I was like, get me out of here. I need to go home and just lay in my own bed. I was having a horrible time. I have no idea why. I am trying to figure that out. I have no idea if this is even connected to Ozempic, but when I tell you, I felt the same way on Ozempic, just a little bit less, but like I was having horrible, horrible anxiety. I also was having feelings of like wooziness. It's very hard to describe. If you've been on Ozempic, let me know what you think it is down in the comments, because I just was having a horrible time. Again, in layman's terms, it does work in a couple different ways. It works directly with your insulin, which is why it worked so well for me, because it helps your body in very, very basic words. From what I understand, it helps your body understand, okay, you need to release more insulin now, and okay, you've released enough, we're good, stop. And so that is why it worked so well for me. So if you know you are just like so insulin resistant, this could be life-changing for you. However, what it also does, I think, is that it lowers your blood sugar. And so for someone like me who does not have low blood sugar, that's why I was feeling so woozy and I was feeling so kind of off balance. So I've learned little tricks and things to do. I'm not a big eater anyways. I know that sounds so crazy. I need to ingest more sugar and I need to ingest more fruits when I'm on Ozempic, and that actually helps a lot. Also, thank God for my newest doctor taking it at night. So when I give myself the injection, I do Mondays. When I do that on Mondays, I'll do it right before I go to bed, because if I do it during the day, especially if I haven't eaten, I can feel really off and just like totally not fun symptoms. So now we're cutting to, sorry if I jumped around a little bit, but now we're cutting to, this is September, October, November. I'm feeling much better. November comes and I immediately start gaining weight. I get in touch with a couple of my doctors. I let them know. And we have deemed that the best plan of action is for me to go back on Ozempic, which I just started, which is also why I'm making this video now, because I really think that like, this way I can give you guys updates if you guys are interested. Again, message me, anything. Let me know if you are interested in me giving you kind of quarterly updates. This time though, even for how horrible my symptoms were previously, I'm like, I know what the symptoms are. I know what they feel like. Even as soon as I did my first dose, I was like, yep, this is the anxiety I was feeling. This is exactly that. I knew what to expect. And so my boundaries are that I can only go up to 0.5, which I just went on this week. And I only want to be on it for 6 months, because I don't want that 9-month mark to come around and have me get so violently ill again. So that's where I'm at right now. This time around, the first couple weeks, again, I was having like, I went immediately back into that weird anxious place, taking it at night right before bed. I'm not talking after dinner. When you are in bed about to go to sleep, that is the best time for me. And I found that then my body kind of adjusts overnight and I don't have to physically feel any of those symptoms. So that's been a game changer just in itself. The other thing that I've done, thank you again, TikTok, genuinely, is to take apple cider vinegar gummies, or you can just take it straight if you want, before I eat dinner. I'm also taking omeprazole, which is essentially an antacid, before lunch. And I'm also taking the prescription strength Pepcid after dinner. So I am like buffering this thing out because I really clearly need this drug, but was just having such horrible symptoms on it that my doctor is like, we're gonna try to protect you as much as possible. So this is my third week that I've been on it. I have not lost any weight yet. So I'm curious to see when I start losing weight, and I will keep you guys updated. Genuinely, I just want to make a couple shout outs. I already shouted out Swizz because like you, first of all, even for having me on your first podcast, check that out, Fashion and Tings. I am so appreciative because someone like you who has just like made their own, genuinely paved the way for so many plus size men and just plus size people. It was life-changing to me when I saw you on the Rihanna Fenty, Savage X Fenty show for the first time. I was like, hello, yes, where is this? Come on, people. Also, Remy Bader, is that how you say last name? Sorry. Remy was on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, and there's just one little clip of it. I need to find the whole thing, talking about her experience with Ozempic, and I think we went on it at very similar times because nobody had ever heard about it. We were on it before it was trending, and like you gave me the courage to talk about this. I'm getting goosebumps now. So I'm so appreciative to you. Also, just like your videos, everything. Since I'm putting myself out there, I'm also like fired up because I got my first like horrible comment on somebody being like, oh, since when are we promoting obesity? And I was like, what? Like, now I understand. Also thinking of Paloma Assessor. Like, I understand what she's talking about when she says, like, it's insane, the things that people say. Don't know me, don't know anything about me. But, you know, after the first comment, you're kind of like, oh my God, all right. Move alongside. Also, Emma Arletta, I've like commented on many of your videos and everything. Like, genuinely, you have no idea how much I appreciate you for just like being amazing and talking about the things that I'm talking about, not to do with Ozempic, but just like being a woman. And like, yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Has nothing to do with our body shapes or body types or whatever. We're women, and this is extremely kind of sensitive and it's a huge topic, but I hope that I have given you guys a little bit of insight, just into kind of my own medical history, and maybe somebody has something similar. But also, I hope that I've given a little bit of light that there are side effects to Ozempic, that it's not like peaches and cream. It can be challenging. Probably so many people have no symptoms, no side effects. It's amazing. They can just be on it forever. That's incredible. I wish I had that. But if you are weary of those symptoms, and let's say you don't necessarily have insulin resistance, or you might not need to be on this, take what I said, because it is serious. It is also giving yourself injections. You have to be totally cool with that. And so there's a lot that goes into it, but I hope that you guys have kind of understood a little bit more about a friend, kind of totally personal, anecdotal side. Also just like some camaraderie, because it's really difficult sometimes. I know I'm like happy and smiley and talking to you guys like everything is normal, and it's really, really hard. That's for another subject, but it takes a major toll on your mental health. And so I hope that I can kind of like be just somebody else in your corner cheering you on. I love you guys so much. Check out the rest of my videos for luxury handbags, fine jewelry, anything interiors. I will definitely be giving updates, so make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I cannot wait to talk to you guys. So either leave me a comment down below, message me on Instagram at Lela Sophia, and I am so grateful for you listening. Thank you as always. Bye guys.